Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
You open your OpenLCA software by double clicking on the tab or the shortcut. So there are two windows, two panels in the interface. One shows the databases that are that you have opened in the interface, and on the right you get all the information, and we will see that step by step. This welcome screen you can close by just clicking on this cross. Okay, so what you have to do in OpenLCA is you first have to import the database. So I told you that I had uploaded the database file on the Google Drive. So I hope you have downloaded it on your machine. So first thing you have to do is you have to import the database. So all the database files that are compatible with OpenLCA have the extension of Zolka. So you'll see that the file that I have uploaded has an extension of .zolka. So that's an extension that is specific to OpenLCA. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to go through this navigation pan. On this free space that you have here, right click on it. Right. So if you right click, you will have two options: new database and restore database. Since what we want to use is an already existing database, so the option that we should choose is restore database. Okay. So just to repeat again, go on this left panel, right click, click on restore database. Once you click on that, you will have the standard Windows or maybe if you are using some other operating software, whichever is the standard interface that you see for selecting a file. You go to the corresponding folder where you have stored your file, the file that I had asked you to download. Go to that particular folder, click on it. So the file name was case study PET versus aluminum mt.zolka. So this is the file we want to open. This is a dummy database that has been created for practice purpose. So you click on that and click open. So once you do that, it appears as one of the databases here on the left hand side. I have two more databases that I have already imported in the interface. You will not have these two. You will only see one interface, one database here. If you have imported, you'll have to double click in order to open the database. You'll have to double click on it. Okay. Now, this database originally was developed an older version of OpenLCA. The version that we are using 1.3 is a newer version of database. So it has to go through an update. So you will get this message: the selected database needs an update. Do you want to run it? You select yes. You will need to be connected to the internet for this. And it will take a half a minute or so to update. So once it is updated, it will open like this. It will show these different categories like projects, product systems, processes, flows, indicators, parameters, and depending on the internet speed as well as the your computer hardware, it may take a little bit more time for some of you. I'm hoping that all of you can see this database. It has been, once you double click, it goes through the update, and once it is updated, it will open. And you can see the internal, the contents of the database. So the structure is the same as the actual database. You have flows which are the either product flows or waste flows and elementary flows. You will see that the number of flows is very less. So there is just one category where everything is combined. In the original database, we had different sections like manufacturing, agriculture, and so on. So it was a comprehensive database. This is a very, very small subset. The other thing is the numbers are also not necessarily correct. So don't worry too much about numbers. The objective is to understand the procedure. The elementary flows are there. Again, same thing, air, resources, soil, water, all these elements are there. So the structure wise, it's exactly the same. The number of entries are much less. Okay. Now let me go back to the problem that we want to solve. So this is the problem we have. So we are saying that you have one PET bottle manufacturing facility and our objective is to do life cycle assessment of a single PET bottle. And the three inputs are 60 grams of PET resin, 20 megajoules of electricity, and there is a transportation operation of 250 kilometers. So what we are assuming in this particular product system is that the PET resin information as well as electricity production information we will take directly from the database. All right. It's really this manufacturing activity that we want to focus on. So if I start identifying the number of flows in this system, so one is PET resin, that is one product flow because it's PET resin is not available in nature, it has to be manufactured. So this is one product flow. The second product flow is electricity. Which is the third product flow here?
PET bottle.
PET bottle. One thing is it may not be obvious to you, but the transportation activity is also, for the sake of calculation, is considered as a product flow because it's something that you are using you are using the truck that runs on diesel. It's an input to your system, and that is required to transport the PET resin from the resin manufacturing facility to the PET bottle manufacturing. So this transport operation is also it's technically, as far as the LCA nomenclature and the procedure is concerned, it's actually a product flow. Although physically it's not a flow that you are using, it's an operation, it's a service, but it will be treated as a product flow. Okay, so there are 4 product flows. 3 are going into this PET manufacturing process, and 1 is coming out. This is the product that we are interested in. Okay, any question on this?
Sir, should we consider transporting the PET bottle to the user?
You can. I mean, if that is the scope of your study, you can. But here I am using a sort of cradle to gate perspective. I'm just looking at a bottle manufacturing. If your system includes transport to a user, you will need to add that as well. Let's ignore that to keep it simple. Once you understand how to include this transportation, the rest that will be fairly straightforward. Okay, any other question? Okay, so now the next thing is we have to, once we have identified the flows, we need to find out which flows are already there in the database and which one need to be defined. Now in this case, we have already said that I'm going to use data of PET resin manufacturing from the database. That means the process, let me just go to the database and see, this is the process. I've done a search here. I told you that you can actually search in this field. So this is a process, PET resin manufacturing process, that is already part of the database. And because it's already part of the database, the product flow coming out of this process is also part of the database. Okay, because if you go to this input output table, the product is polyethylene terephthalate resin. Okay, so this flow is already defined, so I don't need to again define it. And you will see when you search, you will see it here. No? When you search anything, it shows anything that resembles this term. Doesn't matter whether it's part of product or flow. So it shows that there is one product, there is one process for polyethylene terephthalate manufacturing, and this is the flow. It's a product flow that is coming out of this process. Okay, so that is something we don't have to define ourselves. It's already part of the system. If I just to elaborate a little bit on this, if I let's say for the product system I am considering, the resin manufacturing also is unique, and I want to model that as well. Then I will need all the details about that facility as well. So in that case, I will have to create a different product flow because it's a unique process that is generating PET resin. But then I will also need all the other information like, what is the ethylene input, what is the energy input, and so on. So I'm assuming that we'll take this from the database. Same thing is for electricity. Electricity, we are saying we'll take directly from the database, and therefore this flow is already defined. Transport operation also I am taking directly from the database. So I don't have to worry about the transport operation as well. That flow is also taken from the database. So the only thing that is not defined in the database is PET bottle. Now there actually might be a PET bottle input in the database, but that will correspond to a different manufacturing process. Okay, so that will not be useful for you because you are modeling a unique PET bottle manufacturing process. You have to define your own flow. Any question on this? So this you will have to do. So this is a very simple example, but this is might be a little bit challenging if you have a very complex product system. There you will have to clearly find out which flows you are taking from the database and which flows are unique in your case, and those will have to be defined. So let's start with that. Okay, you go back to the database. So how do you define a flow? You click on this flows tab, main flows tab, and you do a right click on this. So just to repeat, you go here on this field, you do a right click here, and you will see several options. The first one is a new flow. So if you want to define a new flow, this is what we need. So you click on this new flow, and it opens up a box to make your entries. So I hope all of you have got up to this point. You're able to see this this box. So once you come here, then you have to give a name. So I will give PET underscore bottle. I don't think you need to avoid spaces. You can have spaces, but just probably it's better not to have space in between. So I have a complete word. So write it as PET bottle. You can give your own name, bottle 1, bottle 2, whatever it is. Okay. Description is optional. You don't have to give it, but if you want, you can say that this is bottle manufactured using process 1. So you may have multiple processes giving the same product, in which case this description becomes useful. So you have given a name to the new flow. You have given some description, which is optional. The next thing is you have to define what kind of flow you have. So you have three options here: elementary, product, and waste. So this is clearly a product flow. It is definitely not an elementary flow. It's a product flow because it's something that we are using. It's being manufactured. Okay, so you click product on this. here. So that is your flow type. It's a product flow. And the symbol changes. Remember, I told you that elementary flow has a leaf here, product flow has these gears, and waste flow has a broom. So you select product flow. And the last thing you have to choose is the reference flow property. So this basically tells you how is the flow that we are creating measured. So if I'm creating a flow like petrol, diesel, and so on, I can give mass as a flow property because these are typically measured in mass. So, and there are other options, area, volume, and so on. Here, since we are talking about bottles, we have to measure it in terms of number of items. We are measuring bottles as 1, 2, 3. That's why we select number of items. Okay. So now you have enough information. You have given the name. You have selected which type of product flow it is, and we have which type of flow it is, and we have also told what is the reference flow property. So you can click finish. Okay. Once you click finish, you see that entry here. It will be a new entry here. Okay. Any questions so far? Anybody? I hope everybody has come to this point. Great. So going back to the problem, we have created this new flow. All other flows we will use from the database. So once the flows are defined, the next thing is to define processes. What are the new processes that you have to define in the database which are already not there? Now here again, we are saying that we are using the PET resin manufacturing and electricity production as well as transportation operation from the database. So that automatically means that it should be part of the database, and it is in this case. So that is again something that we don't have to define. It's already there in the database. Okay. What we have to define is our own unique manufacturing process, the bottle manufacturing process. So this is a process that we have to create on our own and then connect it to the rest of the processes. So let us see how to do that. So you have to go to the processes section now. So you have created the flow. So this is done now. You can actually minimize this. Go to the processes tab and again do the same procedure. You right click, you'll again see options. So just to repeat, you go to this processes word or a term. If you do a right click here, you again see an option of new process. So that is, you have to click on that. So again, it will open up a box in which you have to give some information. Okay. So again, you can give whatever name you feel like. I will call it PET bottle manufacturing. You can give your own unique name, whatever you feel like. Now, one thing here is whenever you are creating a process, you compulsorily have to give a flow coming out of the process. So that is what we mean by quantitative reference. Because there cannot be a process which is not giving you anything. Right? Otherwise, what is the use of that process? There has to be some product coming out of that process. That's why it's a process. So you have to select what specific flow is coming out. So whatever flows you have in this under this tab will all be available for selection here. Okay, so you may have an already existing flow that you want to connect, or you want to, in this particular case, we want to connect a specific flow that we have created. Okay, so we have to select that. So what we are saying is that there is a process which is PET bottle manufacturing. That's the name of the process, and it is producing PET bottle. That's what this means when we select this. Okay, so you give a name, you select a quantitative reference, which in this case is PET bottle, and you click finish. Everybody with me? Any problems? Now we have created a process. So the next thing is to give information. So OpenLC at this point only knows that there is a process that gives you PET bottle. It doesn't know anything else. It doesn't actually have the input output information. Okay, so that is what we have to give now. And in order to do that, once you create the process, you would have this window would have appeared for the new process that you have created. The process would appear on the left panel also. So in order to give the information, you need to go to this input output tab. So in OpenLCA, all the tabs are at the bottom. For a particular window, this is a process window. For that window, the tabs are at the bottom. Okay. So here you will see this inputs outputs tab. So you click on that. If you click on that, you see these tables. So the first table at the top is for all the inputs that are going into the process. The bottom table is for all the outputs that are coming. And it is already listing PET bottle because we selected PET bottle as a reference flow for this process. So that already appears as an output of your process. Okay.
Sir, what does uncertainty mean there? There's a column.
Yeah, so there are, sometimes it is, the data is not deterministically known. So for example, this could be, I mean, this field appears for all the inputs and all the outputs, right? So sometimes you may have a range for a particular value. Let's say a particular input, water requirement or electricity requirement. You don't have a fixed number, but you have a range. So you can actually give that range, and when you do the final calculations, you can do Monte Carlo simulations. So some of you may have heard of this term. So Monte Carlo simulations is basically you in a particular range, you take several values and you do the calculations for all those values. So that is basically Monte Carlo simulation. So that facility is available in OpenLCA. So you have to use it only if you feel that there is significant uncertainty regarding a particular parameter value. I have actually, in all my work, I have never used it so far. Now, we have to add some inputs. There is no input right now in this process. So if I go back to the problem definition, there are three inputs: PET resin, electricity, and transport operation. Okay. So let's add those. So in order to add the flows, you will see at the top at the input table, there is this green plus button. Okay, there are three buttons actually, one green plus, red cross, and this numbers. So if you want to add something, you click on this green plus button, and it will give you a list of all the flows that are available in the system and that you can use as inputs to your process. Okay, so the first input that we want is a PET resin. That's an input to your process. So let's search for this, or you can do a filter also. So if you do a search in large databases, this is often useful. You can do a simple search, but then it also means you need to correctly know the name of the flow. Okay, otherwise you may have to basically go through each and every section and find out whatever is important, whatever you need. Okay, so you will see polyethylene. I have searched polyethylene. There are these options that come up. Now I want you to select the first option, polyethylene. There are actually two entries: polyethylene terephthalate resin at plant RNA. RNA is rest of North America. So earlier in the earlier versions of the database, there were numbers for US specifically, and then there were other different number for rest of North America. So that's why there is RNA. This is a very old database. This is now not used in the newer versions of the database. But anyway, the reason I'm saying you select first is because if you select second, it gives some error. I told you that this is a dummy database. The numbers are not correct and there are some errors in the database. So if you select the second one, you will have some problems later on. So make sure you select the first option. Polyethylene terephthalate resin at plant, RNA. Okay. Once you select that, click OK, and it will appear as one of the inputs in your table. And it shows that it's a product flow. The reference unit for measuring this is kgs. You can change the unit, by the way, not the category. You cannot change the category. You can change the unit. So there are different mass units that you can choose from, depending on your requirement. But category cannot be changed here. So we'll keep it in kg because that's the number we can use. So once you have added the flow, so this is a flow going into the system, you need to change the amount. By default, the number will be 1. So you have to see how much we need. So we are using 60 grams of PET resin. So you have to input this number now. So in kgs, it will be 0.06, that is 60 grams. So you enter, you click on this field. As soon as you click that, you will be able to edit it using your keyboard. Once you have typed in the number, you press enter and it will appear here. Any questions on this? Any problems for anybody?
Sir, I didn't get the process, like how you created it. Can you once again show this input process?
No, this input flow. You are in this process window is open for you, right? You are seeing this screen.
Yes, sir. I can see the screen. I have the output. I don't have the input. I wasn't able to prepare the input.
So this green plus sign that you see here at the top right corner of this table. Do you see that button? I'm not able to hear you. Do you see this button on your screen?
Yes, sir.
So if you click on that, you will get this window. Do you get this window?
Yes, sir.
So here now you have two options. You can go through these categories and select whatever you want. Okay.
So which category exactly did you select for this?
So I actually did a search, but a category will be product and waste flows because PET resin is a product flow. Okay.
Okay.
So you expand the product flow and here you search for polyethylene terephthalate. So if you go to it is arranged alphabetically.
So but there are two, at plant RNA and yeah.
Yeah. So I want you to select the first one.
Okay, sir.
If you select second one, there is a problem in an actual database. You don't have these issues, but this is a dummy database, and I figured out that this creates a problem.
Sure, sir.
Okay, so you have created one flow now.
Yes, sir. We have to change the amount also, right, sir?
Yes. So amount by default will be 1. You have to because I'm defining it in kilograms. It is 0.06. 60 milligram was the number given to us. So I'm using 0.06. You can change unit to milligrams and write 60 also. It won't make a difference.
Sure, sir.
Now, so that was the first one. The second thing that we need is the electricity. Okay. So let us add that now. Same procedure. You click on this plus tab. You again go to the product or waste flows and again, this is arranged alphabetically, so you can go to electricity section. Okay, so you have again several options. I told you that electricity can be produced using different methods. So there are entries for biomass, again rest of North America, US, diesel-based electricity, lignite coal, and so on. Okay. Let us select electricity bituminous coal at bituminous coal at power plant US. Okay, there must be one entry for electricity bituminous coal at power plant US. So we will select that. Again, if you want, you can select a different option, but for this option, I know that the calculations work. For some other options, there are again some issues. So at least as the first attempt, let's all of us go ahead with this. Then you can play around with the software later on. Okay. Everybody has got this flow, electricity bituminous coal at power plant US. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So once you select that, again click OK. It appears as an input to your interface. And again, by default, the number is 1 megajoule, which will need to change. So the problem definition says that we need 20 megajoules of electricity. So let's click on that field, change the number and enter. Okay, so this is electricity. We will follow the same procedure. So the only one input is now remaining, transport operation. So let's add the third one. Again, the same procedure. Click on this green plus sign. Go to the product and waste flows. And go to the transport operation. Okay, so transport again you can do using several modes. You can have aircraft transport, barge transport on water, truck based, ocean freighter, and so on. Okay, so here again, and in actual database, you have many more options. So here again, let's go ahead with the combination of transport, combination truck, diesel powered US. Let us select this option. Combination truck means a typical truck in the US, which is diesel powered. So as I told you, it's an operation that we are doing. It's not a physical flow. Transportation is not really a physical flow into the system, but it's an input to the system. It's a service that is provided. That's why it's a product flow. Okay, so I will click on this. I'll click OK. And it appears as an input to the system. Okay.
So what is the unit of this?
So I am coming to that. So the unit is tons into kilometers. Can anybody guess why it is like this?
Because a truck carries some weight for some kilometers, so that is why I guess.
Yes. So, and the efficiency of a truck, the amount of fuel that you need and so on, and therefore the emissions will be a function of distance traveled as well as the amount of the load traveled, the load carried. So an empty truck versus a loaded truck has different fuel efficiencies. And that's why the unit for transportation is ton kilometer. So it basically tells you that I'm carrying these many tons for these many kilometers. So that's the combined unit. Okay. So because our number is in kgs, we have used a number, our mass that needs to be transported in kgs. Let's convert that ton kilometer into kg kilometers. Okay. Again, you can select a different unit in the given category. So I'm changing kg ton kilometer to kg kilometers. You can use ton kilometer, by the way, but then you will have to convert this into tons. That is also fine, but it's too many zeros, too many decimal points, so it's just easier to deal with kg kilometers.
So it will be 15, right?
Yeah. So the way to calculate this number now is you have 60 grams that are transported over 250 kilometers. So 60 is 0.06 kgs. So 0.06 into 250 is 15. So our transportation requirement is 15 kg kilometers. 0.06 kgs transported over 250 kilometers, and that comes out to be 15. Okay. Everybody with me? Any questions on what we have done so far? Okay. So, please save your process. So the save button is at the top left, the second button from left, or you can also press Ctrl S. If you don't save, your calculations will not reflect the additions you have made, and you will get all zeros. Okay, so now actually we have given all the information. Now, whatever the problem definition told us that you have a bottle manufacturing facility which uses PET resin, 60 grams, 20 megajoules of electricity, resin transported over 250 kilometers, and gives you one bottle. So all this information is now captured in these input-output tables. So we are done now. As far as the process creation is concerned, we have created the process. When you are doing a more complex product system calculation, you'll have to create many such processes and connect those together. So it will be a much more involved process. Okay. Process is created. So in OpenLCA, what you have to do is you have to create a product system from it. And the reason is that you may have multiple processes that are connected to each other. So every process tab will have information only about that particular process. But through these input-output connections, so what will happen is, if there are two connecting processes, for example, and let's say the PET bottle manufacturing is getting input from another process that you have created. One of the inputs here will be an output of that process. And we will actually, the second example I'm going to do will show how to do this. But you will have many processes that are connected to each other. But when you create a product system, they are actually put together. Here you only have information about the process, but you still need to actually make sure that everything is connected properly. So that is done by this process of creating a product system. Okay. So let's click on this create product system. Now you'll see several options here. This is a little bit confusing, but let me explain. So the product system name, if you want, you can change here. I don't see any need to change it, but you can modify it if necessary. You also have to create a reference process. What is the main process that is this product system referring to? So we will go ahead with the process that we have created, which is PET bottle manufacturing. It is already selected by default, so we don't have to do anything. Now, this is where some selection options have to be made. And let me explain those carefully. So when if you click this, it's by default this auto link process option is clicked. Okay. This means that the software will internally search for the providers. See, let me close this window and explain what I mean. We created this process of PET bottle manufacturing, and we have said that there are these processes that are going into these flows, are going into the process. But this information doesn't tell you which process is creating this flow. I hope I have not confused you, but for example, electricity, there might be multiple processes which give you electricity. That information is not yet known here. This information only tells you that we need electricity and the number is 20 megajoules. Which process is providing you that electricity is not yet mentioned here.
Sir, but the reason that there were so many different kinds of electricity in that drop-down menu is because the process is unique for each one of them, right? And so I think it would be factored into that.
No, so it doesn't appear in that in a smaller database, but in a larger database, you may have multiple coal-based power plants that are still giving. So the process is same, electricity, but you may have different types of coal-based power plants. They will give you still the same electricity. Okay.
Okay.
And after we are done, I'll show you an example on the actual database. Okay. So once you create the product system, if you by default it says auto link process. So what this means is you are letting OpenLCA figure out how to link the process or which process to link for a particular flow. You are letting OpenLCA do that automatically by default. Whatever it thinks is the right process, it will select. So that is one. If you uncheck it, you have to do it manually, and I'll show both actually. I'll show both options. So let's go ahead with the first thing. So let's keep it as default, link auto link processes. And if you are letting OpenLCA do the auto linking, then you have to also give some additional information, whether you would like to select default providers or not, or ignore default providers. So these are some advanced options that I don't want to discuss too much in this session. Most of you are, all of you are just doing this for the first time. And this is this option that I talked about, unit process or system process. Unit process will only give you a limited information. System process captures everything upstream. So if you are doing it, if you are connecting by default, don't change these options. You can just say that Octolink process, prefer default providers, prefer system processes. And if you click finish, it will create a product system, and this product system will appear here. Okay, if you expand this product system tab, this product system appears here. Okay. So what has happened is that the process you have defined, based on that information, a product system has been created, and you can check whether this system has been correctly created by clicking on this model graph. Again, on the bottom you have 4 different tabs. If you create model graph, you will see the product system pictorially. So you can see that there is a PET bottle manufacturing which takes input from polyethylene terephthalate manufacturing process, transport operation process, and electricity production process. Okay, so these are the 3 inputs that go into the PET bottle manufacturing. Okay, so you have let the software select the default providers, and it has connected. Any question on this?
Sir, if our objective is not to consider upstream processes, then we will select units
Yes.
process
Yes.
product. Yeah, and in that case, whatever like the upstream, the first option that we selected, it is not relevant because we are not considering that impact anyway.
Yes, yes. So let me actually show that. So let me go to this process. I'll create a product system, and this time I'll select unit processes. Okay. Let me just change the name to avoid confusion. Okay. So I have created a different product system. It appears here, and you will see this model graph. Okay. So it's the same model graph, but it will not consider the upstream connections. Okay, because you still need these three steps. It's the upstream thing that you don't want. Okay. So let me just delete this to avoid confusion later. Okay. Now, so one thing I want to clear is you see this, you can actually double click on this and it shows you the input or output. I mentioned this last time also. One of the cribs that I have with OpenLC is that the interface is not very good. So you see these arrows are a little bit clunky and don't really actually, they are not good, but can't do anything about it. But you can double click on this. It shows you all the inputs and outputs. You can do this for the other processes also. These are all the inputs that go into the resin manufacturing, and these are all the outputs. Okay.